Hare Krishna, welcome devotees to the Gita Daily session. Thanks for joining regularly. Today we'll be discussing 10th chapter, Sloka number 9. So let's take the blessings of the Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya Sudarshan, Lakshmi Narsimhadev, Gaur Panchatattva. Let's pray that by their blessings we can understand the transcendental topics of Bhagavad Gita. So let's recite the prayers together. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakrurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's dedicate the session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let's thank Srila Prabhupada for his contribution of Bhagavad Gita and who has presented it in a very simple and practical way. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Today's shloka is 10.9. Let's recite the words together. Matchitta madgata prana bodhayanda parasparam gadayandascha mam nityam तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Repetition. मच्चित्ता मद्गत प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Word to word meaning. Machita. Their minds fully engaged in me. Madgada prana, their lives devoted to me. Bodhayanta, preaching. Parasparam, among themselves. Kathayanta, talking. Cha, also, mom, about me. Nityam, perpetually. Tushyanti, become pleased. Cha, also. Ramanti, enjoy transcendental bliss. Cha, also. So, we'll recite translation again. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So let's look at the shloka in more detail. So just setting the context, we are discussing now the 10th chapter. So we have moved to the 10th chapter. 10th chapter is talking about opulence of the Lord. So we just to remember the middle six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, is the confidential part of Bhagavad Gita, which is talking about the highest path of devotional service. So we have been seeing in the last few sessions how the Lord actually is giving secret information to Arjuna about the transcendental topics. So it is called secret because though it is one way it is open secret, no, everybody can see it, read it, Bhagavad Gita. But unless and until we understand it through a parampara, we cannot come to the right conclusion. No, there are various options Krishna is giving to Arjuna. But to understand the real conclusion and what is the topmost path or for the highest perfection, we need to understand through great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada or through their disciples. So this way it is a secret, rahasyam, guhyam. No, Krishna explains it, guhyam, right? So, so last sloka we discussed about the Lord is telling how everything comes from the Lord, right? So how to have the right understanding about the Lord. So before we invest something, right? So if you are investing money, first we will do the research, right? Understand, are we putting the investment in the right place, right? So that we get the best return. So we are always like that. We are in having a business mind, but nevertheless, in when we choose the highest path, or no, when we try to attain perfection in life, or to get the highest perfection. So similarly here, we need to have the conviction, right? We are investing in the right path. So Krishna actually reveals information about him. What is his position? Who is he? So this way, in the last sloka we saw, it has been established, right? Srila Prabhupada quotes from various scriptures also to establish how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No, one without a second. There is nothing beyond him. So this way, when we understand the Lord's position that are correctly, then actually we can be fully convinced and no, we can put all our efforts there. Right. So this way the Lord actually is giving the information to Arjuna. So today Lord actually is giving more details, right? How actually how a pure devotee leads his life, right? How the Lord actually is always connected with the devotee. Okay, so here it mentioned Matchitta. So a pure devotee's mind is always fixed in Krishna, right? So we have seen many shlokas earlier, no? Where actually Krishna is asking Arjuna to fix his mind on the Lord. Right? Saradam kirtayando mabhyadandasya dridhavarja. Right? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmaryuddhacha. Mayarpida manobuddhi. So the Lord actually is, here is saying that a pure devotee, a person who is trying to become a pure devotee, he will try to fix his mind always on the Krishna. All the time, he will try to remember the Lord. Matgata Prana. Actually, he's dedicated his life. So when we understand, that what is the ultimate purpose of life, right? Or what is the highest perfection that we can achieve, then naturally we will dedicate our time towards that, right? And gradually, a pure devotee of the Lord, he will completely dedicate his life because he knows that everything else is not having any permanent value. It's all just waste of time, right? This way he understands and he tries to dedicate more time. Or finally, he comes to a time, a state where he completely dedicates his entire life, right? Life and soul. So for him, Krishna is the life and soul, and everything else becomes secondary. Then bodhe and the parasparam. So what else the devotee do? Pure devotee do? So they will not waste time in idle, prajalpa or no mundane talks, but then they spend their time enlightening each other, discussing about Krishna. Whenever they meet, they talk about Krishna always, right? And so this way, the association of devotees is very important. So devotion cannot progress without satsanga, association of devotees. That is very important. Then Kadayanta Shamam Nityam. So constantly they talk about the glories of the Lord. They talk about Krishna Katha, pastimes of the Lord, their understanding. They share with each other whatever they understand. Right. So we have this Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Right. So every day, daily they read Srimad Bhagavatam and also discuss among themselves. Tushyantija Ramantija. So they find satisfaction and bliss. Tus- Tushti means deep contentment and Ramanti means getting pleasure. They find great happiness and bliss, in thus engaging in devotional service by performing these activities. So, so what actually the essence is that the devotee, pure devotee, completely engages, in the service of the Lord by his mind, words, and action. So we call manasa, vaja, and karmana. Right? So internally and externally is completely dedicated. So internally is always absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord, and externally his words and actions. They are all dedicated to the service of the Lord. So whenever he speaks, he speaks about the Lord, right? And whenever he acts something, he actually does some act service in the service of the Lord. So this sometimes it may look like something, which is disconnected from our reality, right? How it is possible? Because we are living in this material world, right? We have so many responsibilities. We have family. So does it mean that we should give up everything? So that is not actually what is necessary, right? It's not necessary to give up everything. So the acharyas gives us a paddhati or a process, by which actually do we can carry out our material responsibilities at the same time perform devotional service. But then naturally, when we do that under the guidance of a guru and perform devotional service slowly and gradually, our attachment to the material things reduces and our attachment to Krishna increases. So basically these two happen simultaneously. So when we try to become more attached to Krishna, then slowly material attachments will go away. So we don't have to artificially renounce anything. Right? Does when we perform bhakti or devotion service according to the acharyas, automatically other things will follow. Everything else will happen as a byproduct. So, but here one of the most important things we always stress is the association. No satsanga. The association of devotees is very important. In Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says that basically we should avoid association of non-devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says asat sanga tyaga ye vaishnavachara. So basically the qualities that we develop, right, that will depend on our association. So if we associate with materialistic people, then we also become materialistic. If we associate with lusty people, then we also become lusty, right? So like that, no. So whatever actually kind of people we associate, accordingly those qualities we develop. So it is important that we should increase the association with devotees and decrease association, or if possible, no, minimize or give up the association of give up asat sangha, the association of materialistic people who are behind sense enjoyment, right? If you associate such people, then our propensity for those things will increase. So this is something very important actually, right? And how what is that keeps no what is that which keeps the devotee continuing in devotional service? Because somebody may wonder, how they are able to live like this. no, because sometimes devotees are very austere. They perform austerities, like they do fasting. They actually become selfless in helping others. So they spend a lot of time to help others, so etc. So when we look at them, we may feel how it is possible. They are able to do. So they are able to do that because they are experiencing a higher happiness, right? So param drishtva nivartade rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartade. So which means whenever we get higher taste, right, then actually the lower taste are all insignificant. And the rasa, it is called bhakti rasa, right? The rasa or the transcendental mellow that one get by performing devotional service, that actually is something which we can never get in by any other material means, right? So when the devotee start relishing this rasa and mellow, then they actually become very happy, because we have seen, no, the Jivara Swarup Hoy Krishna and Nityadas. So when the devotee is performing devotional service, it is like the fish taking into the water. The fish natural habitat is the water, and it can never become happy outside water, right? Whatever we do, if you put the fish in a golden cage and try to give him a lot of food, but then it cannot survive outside the water, right? As soon as the fish gets back to the water, it becomes natural and it becomes very happy. So actually the jiva, right, of which all of us are, our original nature is to serve the Lord, right? And in that position, our nature is Sachidananda, right? Sat, eternal chit, knowledge and bliss, Ananda. So jiva gets the real lost happiness when he performs the bhakti. So even if you do a small devotional service, just try to chant a little bit, right? Just try to offer some flowers to Lord. Even if you do a very small devotional activity, we can get a glimpse of that ananda or happiness. So that's why we have to be clear that when we should not think that, no, I lose everything when I take up bhakti, right? So we are all attached to the material things, right? The glitter and the shine of the material world, right? So we have like so many things in the material world, no? We want to eat very nicely, we want to be appreciated by everybody else, right? We want to enjoy, right, with family, children. So many things we have, right? We want to watch movies, we need entertainment, we need to go out to the hotel and eat. So like that, so many things. So we may think that, okay, when I become a devotee, I will have to give up all these things, my life will become very dry, there won't be any happiness. But then that is actually a misconception, because when we look at devotees, we can see that they are always happy, right? Just now, as I explained, because we are actually searching for the real happiness, which we are not able to find in the material world. Even though we do all those things which we listed, right, still we are unhappy, right? We have so many problems in the life, we are always morose, right? So why that is? Because we are looking for the happiness in the wrong place. So when we take up bhakti, then we re-establish our connection with the Supreme Lord, who is our Supreme Father, who is our ever well-wisher. Right? The Lord is always waiting eagerly for us to return to Him. So when we do that bhakti, then we get the natural and the real happiness that we are seeking. So this way, we don't lose anything. So we need to be very clear about this point, right? We are not losing anything. We get everything that we have lost, and we can become very happy when we perform devotional service. So in nectar of instruction, there are some important things which I mentioned, right, which are actually done by devotees. So in this sloka, today's sloka, Lord is discussing the behavior of a devotee. So in nectar of instruction, it is mentioned dadadi pradigannadi guhyamakyadi prachari bhunkte bojede cheva shadvida priti lakshanam. So these are the things done by devotees. So dadadi pradigannadi. So the devotees actually have loving exchanges. Dadadi and pradigannadi means giving and taking. So they give and take. They give and take knowledge. They give and take gifts, right? Then Gukhe Makya the Prachari means they talk about confidential matters of the Lord, right? Bhunkte Boje de Cheva. So they actually they eat together. They have prasadam together, right? So this way this way these things actually help us to build a real relationship with devotees. So actually in devotee circle we can see that there is real friendship. No, it is not temporary friendship or business minded friendship. No, I help you, you help me, right? So that is not devotees are genuine well wishers. They try to really have help each other when they no when other devotees are in difficulty. And then devotees, no, they visit each other, they go to each other's home, they invite for prasadam, right? They have feast together, they do Krishna Katha, right? So this way the devotee's life is very very joyful, right? They exchange gifts, support. So this way, we don't lose anything. We have a good social circle among devotees, right? Where actually we can really become happy. We can really find the people who are genuine, right? So this way, in the satsanga, we can make progress in devotional side. So we look at some important shlokas. So in Padma Purana, Lord Vishnu tells Narada, right, where actually he resides. So, he says, Naham tishtanti vaikunte yoginam hridayeshua tatra tishtanti Narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. So this is related to today's shloka. No? So Krishna actually talks in today's shloka about how the devotees converse with each other, right? They talk about Krishna Katha. So in this shloka in Padma Purana, what Lord says is that, "Oh Narada, I am not in Vaikuntha, nor I am in the heart of the yogis, but I am there where my devotees talk about my Katha." Right? So Yatra Gayanti Mat Bhakta. So wherever actually devotees are talking about the Lord's pastimes and glories, the Lord actually is always present there. So basically, it means that in the association of devotees, the Lord actually is available, present to such such devotees. In Bhagavatam 3.25.25, what actually says Lord says, Sadam prasangamama virya samvido bhavanti hridkarna rasayana kada tajjoshanadasva apavargavatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramasyati. So what it says, in the association of pure devotees, discussion of pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So basically, it is mentioned the devotees can be very, very joyful and happy when they hear the Krishna Katha. Right? So initially, we may not have this taste. So just like it is mentioned, a person who is suffering from jaundice, right, he will not have taste of sugar candy. If you give sugar, sweet things to him, he feel it is very bitter because our heart is contaminated by so many lifetimes of papa, many karma that we have done. We don't have taste for Krishna Katha, right? But then when we slowly perform bhakti and associated devotees, starting with chanting of the holy names, slowly the disease will get removed, the jaundice will get cured, and slowly we start getting the taste. So we need to have patience in bhakti, right? How actually gradually we get the taste, and then the topics of Krishna become very attractive for the ear. So we can relish the topics. So also it is mentioned, when we hear the Krishna Katha, all the unwanted knots in the heart actually becomes slackened. Because the heart, Hridaya Granthi, it is mentioned. Hridaya Granthi is the attachment for material things, for the family, etc. So that actually strongly binds us in the material conception. But when we hear Krishna Katha, slowly, this heart is removed, right? So we become purified. So 1.2.17 says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shrinodam Sugata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayandyastho Yabhadrani Vidunodi Sursutam. This is the shloka. So Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is Paramatma in every heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. So essentially we don't have to technically think how like overcome all my material attachment. So this we don't have to worry separately. Just by hearing the transcendental topics of Krishna, right? Just by performing bhakti, all that is required is automatically arranged by the Lord. So this is what actually it means. So Srila Prabhupada says devotional service is so pleasant that devotees forget material suffering. So automatically the so many material worries and suffering that we go through, everything will automatically be removed, or no, we will not feel the differences. So one thing we need to understand is that we should not be in illusion thinking that no, when we take up bhakti all the problems of life is solved. That is not the point. But then we will come to a transcendental platform, and all these material things will not affect us. We can surpass all this material situation, right? So when Krishna says to Arjuna that basically he says that Arjuna, by remembering me you can pass over all the obstacles of the material life. So now we'll look at an analogy before we end today's session. So there is an analogy in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, gives the example of how he compares bhakti to a creeper. A creeper actually is a small plant which is very tender, and a creeper actually has to be taken care very nicely. Right? If you are careless about a creeper, it can get destroyed very easily. It can break. So the bhakti lata. So actually devotion is actually like a bhakti lata, and the seed of this bhakti is given by the spiritual master. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Brahmanda Brahmide Kono Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Kripa Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So after wandering through so many universes, so many lifetimes, so many bodies, a jiva finally, if he becomes fortunate, he gets the association of a pure devotee who is a guru. right? Brahmanda Brahmide Kono Bhagyavan Jiva. Right? Guru Krishna Kripa Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he gets the seed of devotion. So the seed actually is planted in the heart of the devotee, right? And then it is up to the jiva has to take care of this seed. So he has to become like a gardener, and he has to nourish the seed. So he has to pour water, which is like chanting and hearing. Right? Shravanam and Kirtanam, starting with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So hearing and chanting is like pouring water to the seed. But if you neglect and no, don't water the seed, then the seed will dry and seed will not sprout. But when we perform chanting and hearing, slowly actually the seed will sprout, and the creeper will come out. Right after that, actually we have to protect the creeper, because the creeper can be attacked by some animal like goat or cow and come and eat the creeper. So we need to protect it nicely. So we have to fence, we have to protect the bhakti. So that how we'll protect the bhakti? By association with devotees, right? And avoid association of non-devotees. So the non-devotees association is like attack to the creeper. When we associate with non-devotees, our faith will decline. So we should associate with satsanga, we should increase, and asatsanga we have to reduce, right? Then also, along when we water the bhakti lada, it is possible that along with the bhakti lada, some unwanted weeds will grow, unwanted plants will grow. And if you don't uproot those, then it will take all the nutrition, right? And the plant cannot grow. So we have to remove the uproot the. So the weeds are like unnecessary material and enjoyments, no material, our attachment to material enjoyment, our various attachments, all these anarthas, desire for liberation. So these are all unwanted attachments are like weeds, which will destroy the this thing. So we need to take care of them. Right? So if you thus nicely take care of this Bhakti Lata, then it is mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that the Bhakti Lata will grow. It grows very fast, and it grows through the entire universe, and finally it crosses the material world, and it can enter the spiritual world, right? And then on pass through all the Vaikuntha planets, finally it goes to the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, right? And then after that, actually it can develop the fruits, right, of the Bhakti. So this way, when we take care of the Bhakti Lata nicely and very carefully, then no, the Lord is guaranteeing that we can attain the highest perfection, which actually is Krishna Prema. Right. So with that, I think we come to the main topic. And so, what are the key takeaways? So we have to understand that what are the important angas of bhakti, what are aspects that we have to do in devotional service, which actually most important things are like association of devotees. So as a practical thing, what we can apply in our day-to-day life is that we should always be aware that asatsanga actually is something we have to minimize. Association with materialistic people or non-devotees, we should minimize it. But then to live in the material world, we cannot completely avoid it, right? So because of our job, for example, or our day-to-day dealings when we are living in a society, so all, and we have family responsibilities, family members, like various functions happen, no? Various marriages, various. So all these things are our social obligations. But then we need to understand that this is all temporary, right? So we have to keep them to minimal. So whatever is essential, we have to do to survive in the material world. But then we should be aware that these things are not going to help us much, right? So minimize it, right? But on the same time, we should increase association with the devotees, right? So this is some practical takeaway that we can implement in our day-to-day life. So this applies in every walk of life, in personal life, right? In family also, the same thing. We should try to see what is essential. We should stick to that, right? And our job also same thing, right? We will have to have, we cannot completely avoid associating with our colleagues. So it is required to communicate, networking, all those things are required. But then we should keep them to professional level. Whatever is essential, we should keep, right? So once we become strong in bhakti, then we can start preaching to others. But then the first step, we should be confident ourselves, right? So we should, as an important takeaway, we should let us try to increase the association with devotees and try to minimize or reduce association with non-devotees. Okay, so with that, I think we come to end of today's discussion. If devotees have any questions, they can unmute and ask, or they can put it in the chat. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question, devotees? If no question, then we'll chant Hare Krishna mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So request all devotees to please chant daily Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, how much ever possible, and try to keep your day as much as possible, remembering the Lord whenever possible. Try to remember the Lord throughout the day. Okay, so with that we end today's session. So thanks all devotees for joining regularly. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Hare Krishna.